All right. So, what exactly did Trump mean by destroying an entire civilization? Does that mean he's going to nuke the Iranians tonight? Obviously, if he does attempt to destroy their entire civilization, um, we're talking a level of war crimes that can't even be imagined. Also, there are reports that there wasn't actually down pilots in regards to an F 15. There are independent reports coming out from the Iranian government that it was actually a cover up for a failed special operations mission, which, as I've done some research, starting to make sense. Why did they have so many aircraft involved in search and rescue and deception campaign in regards to one missing air crewman? Um, that's not normal. That's not standard. Typically, the Air Force, you know, rescue teams don't operate with C-130s, and hundreds of other aircraft to go in and find a downed pilot or downed air crewman. There were two C-130s that were destroyed by U.S. forces so that they wouldn't get into the hands of Iranian forces. So, who was on these C-130s? Because they're typically not involved in search and rescue operations in regards to down pilots. A couple of Black Hawk helicopters. It sounds to me like it was a special forces operation that went bad. Who picked up all of these forces that were involved? Who was on, or who was on these C-130s that went down? Were there a lot more U.S. forces killed in action that the administration's not telling us about? I would not put it past this administration, not one bit. So let's wait and see what happens. What's really going to come out of it, because we don't know. We have no idea. What is going on with my sound? I'm really disappointed. I'm having all types of technical difficulties today. All right, so I know that's working. Um, so anyway, let's get back to this threat Donald Trump made to the Iranian government. The deadline is sometime tonight. I'm not sure exactly what time. I didn't really read too much into it, but I heard his speech the other night claiming that he was going to rain down holy hell, basically, on the Iranians if they don't open the fucking strait. He said, "Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or else you are going to be living in hell." And then he later went on to double down on that by saying that their entire civilization would be destroyed. What does that mean? Is he going to start actively bombing civilians, the civilian population, their cities. He did say he was going to bomb their infrastructure, their bridges, and power plants, desalination plants. Let me explain this to you all. If Trump orders that, not only would he be committing a war crime on the highest level, but the military commanders that actually pass on those orders to our forces and have our forces carry that out will also be criminally a part of the war crimes. They would be aiding and abetting the ultimate war criminal. Up until this point, the ultimate war criminal has been Bibi Netanyahu, Vladimir Putin, but it looks like Donald Trump is looking to try to surpass even their crimes. America is looking real bad on the world stage. Our allies have all turned their backs, which they should have, because this isn't an allied problem. Nobody attacked us, and nobody attacked any one of our allies, probably soon to be former allies, in which the NATO Charter specifically states that an attack on one is an attack on all. However, what a lot of people don't understand is that when NATO was put together and they were putting together the articles of the alliance, Article 6, which is something the U.S. specifically put in to the treaty agreement, was that actions would only be required based on attacks within a certain region, within NATO country regions. It would military responses would be limited. So think about this. NATO's not required to come to the aid of the United States, especially when the United States is the aggressor. The United States is the one that started the war. Iran didn't start the war. They didn't start it at all. Another thing is the fact that Donald Trump continues to put out there that we've been negotiating with these people for 47 years. It's true, we have been. But you people and you supporters of Donald Trump's illegal actions need to understand the history behind Iran. Because Iran, for one, used to be our number one ally in the Middle East up until 1979. But prior to 1979, I believe it was 1958, is when the United States lost favor with the guy who was in power prior to the Shah of Iran. Let me look up what his name was. He was, let's see, who was in power prior to the Shah. Okay, the Qajar dynasty ruled Iran, then Persia, immediately prior to the establishment of the Pahlavi dynasty in 1925. Ahmad Shah Qajar was the final ruler of this dynasty, which was deposed following a 1921 coup and subsequent rise of Reza Khan, later Reza Shah Pahlavi. Okay? Reza Khan, who was a soldier who took control in 1921, became prime minister in 1923, and it was officially crowned Shah in 1926 after deposing the Qajars. Okay. Then the transition of power. Hold on, in the context. Pahlavi dynasty ruled from 1925 until the 1979 Iranian Revolution. And it was the United States, via the CIA, that helped the Pahlavi government, the Pahlavi regime or Pahlavi dynasty come into power in Iran. And they were tight with the U.S. So you got to understand, this whole Iranian thing goes way back, before the Ayatollahs. The Ayatollahs took over in 1979 because the population lost favor with the Pahlavi dynasty, who was basically in the hip pocket of the United States and the British government, actually. And when the Ayatollahs took over, they basically cut off all access to Iranian oil. And therein lies the ongoing beef with Iran, because the Western world was denied access to their oil reserves, Iranian oil reserves. Now, and let's talk about the fact that now Donald Trump, his only reason for taking over or attempting to take over Iran, his only reason for attacking Iran has nothing to do with nuclear weapons. Absolutely nothing to do with nuclear weapons. It's all about oil. And now Iran has flipped the script and said, you know what? We're not going to pursue nuclear weapons, but we are going to control access to this damn oil coming through the Strait of Hormuz. So we're going to charge a toll, which is what Donald Trump wanted to do himself. Now, here's the thing that really gets my goat about this whole situation. Who the fuck is the United States to claim dominance over passage through the Strait of Hormuz? That's not our territory. It's not our land. It's not our strait. The United States has no authority to dictate who controls the Strait of Hormuz. None of the Western world, none of the European powers, nobody has that authority other than those countries that occupy that zone. And hey, Iran, they got to pass close by to Iran to get in and out of those straits. So Iran said, hey, I believe it's only a 21-mile corridor or something like that. So Iran is the big boy on the block in that area. The other Arab nations there, they don't have the power to flex like Iran does. But again, the United States has no authority over there. It's all about oil, y'all. It's all about greed. It's all about capitalism. It's all about trying to exert Western imperialism and Western dominance on some shit that don't belong to us. And here's another thing we need to consider. Donald Trump claims that, it's not our problem anyway. They say, oh, well, it's NATO problem. It's a European problem. If that's the case, then, Mr. Trump, why are you so fucking adamant about gaining control of the Strait? Why? Because you want to control the oil. And I've said this thing even about nuclear weapons. Who the fuck is the United States to dictate who can have and have not nuclear weapons? Who gives the United States that authority? We have them. We have a lot of them. Russians have a lot of them. The Chinese have a lot of them. Israel has them. The British has them. The French has them. Pakistan has them. India has them. There are a lot of countries in the world that have nuclear weapons, but guess what? The United States is the only country that has ever used atomic weapons in warfare. Only the United States. So basically, the rest of the world does have something to fear from the United States because they know that the United States will use nuclear weapons. So I'm not really mad at the Iranians, for wanting a nuclear weapon. I'm not mad at Kim Jong-un for wanting a nuclear weapon. I would love it if nobody had nuclear weapons. But everybody's going to pursue, well, not everybody's going to pursue them, but those who have the technology are going to pursue them because they don't ever know what the United States is going to do. And having Donald Trump in the White House is proof of that. Never know when the script would have been flipped. No, I bet no one ever imagined that the U.S. would be in this position now. The position that when that we're the actual pariah of the world. And a lot of you MAGA idiots, you cult members out there will definitely disagree with everything I have to say, but that's okay. You know what? That's really what makes America great, is the fact that we can all agree to disagree. And there's supposed to be no repercussions for that disagreement. But you motherfuckers are just stupid. You voted this egomaniacal half-wit into office 2 times. You voted for him 3 times. Got him in the office the 2nd time. And I told all you motherfuckers out there that if he ever got back in the office again, that exactly this was going to happen. I was screaming this years ago. But here we go. Here's what we're dealing with now. And it's a damn shame because we're just fucked up right now. We are, And Donald Trump has no plan for getting us out of this, other than making idle threats, And I don't even think they're idle threats. I actually believe he's retarded enough to make good on his threats. God forbid he orders boots on the ground in Iran. We're not ready for that, America. We are truly not ready for that fight. See, many of you aren't familiar with Iran, the topography. Iran is surrounded by mountains, high, rugged mountains. So it's not like we can easily put forces on the ground we definitely don't have the force structure to take over and dominate Iran. We don't. We don't even have air supremacy. That's been proven these last couple of weeks because they've been shooting down our aircraft. Contrary to popular belief, contrary to the bullshit that Trump and Pete Hegseth have been putting out there, our aircraft are still in danger flying over the Iranian landscape. Our pilots and air crews are in hella danger. Still to this day. Yeah, we've decimated their Air Force, but it was an antique Air Force. We've decimated their Navy, but which wasn't a blue water Navy to begin with. So their Navy wasn't something that can compete with our Navy by any means. And I'm not even saying that their ground force could really contend with our ground forces, but we just don't have the manpower to stage a ground campaign in Iran. We don't have the manpower. I don't care how much technology you have, we don't have the manpower to fight a war on Iranian soil. You have to understand Iran is bigger than Iraq and Afghanistan combined. The topography is brutal. The logistics alone would end us. And trust me, people, you don't want to start seeing American body bags coming home. I don't. But Donald Trump has gotten us into something that could quickly escalate into a quagmire and could escalate into a world war. It's already the regional conflict that no one expected and damn sure nobody wanted. But here we are. Here we are dealing with this bullshit. Trump has us fucked up right now. Let me check this audio one more time. Okay, so what do we do? What can we do as a people? I don't know. I don't know if there's much that we can do. But let's see. Join the chat. I don't know if there's much that we can do. But we're in a bad position right now. You know, we are in a very bad position, and I think it's gonna be up to our military leaders to start defying orders. It's gonna be up to our military leaders to push back and say, you know what, I'm not sending our guys into this bullshit anymore. We just need to stop it. It needs to stop. Somebody inboxed me yesterday, you know, saying that I was a traitor to my country. Really? Because I don't support the bullshit that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth have gotten us into. Let me explain something to you about patriotism. Patriotism doesn't mean that you just blindly follow a government to damnation. That's not what patriotism is. Loyalty does not mean that you just throw aside all of your moral convictions and just go with whatever they order you to go with. That's not what it's all about. Even the UCMJ told us not to follow unlawful orders. And these orders that are being given to our troops now are extremely unlawful. I'm hoping that the military commanders that are still on the job, because Trump and Hegseth are getting rid of all of the ones that are black. They're getting rid of females. They're getting rid of anybody that they think might be a dissenter. And they're going to stack the deck in their favor. They're going to fill these ranks with yes men and robots. I'm hoping that there's enough left in our military force structure to push back hard enough to put an end to this bullshit. I'm not calling for a coup or anything like that, but I am calling for our military commanders to follow the Uniform Code of Military Justice, restore honor to our forces, restore honor to this country. Because right now, we are a global embarrassment and we are a global threat. Russia and China are loving it. They're watching us self destruct from the inside out, and they are loving every minute of it. We can't even talk to the Russians now about anything that's going on in Ukraine because we're just as criminal as they are right now. And China's smart. China's not putting any forces anywhere. They're just sitting back and they're going to watch the rest of the white world destroy itself. They're going to watch these Europeans and Slavics destroy themselves. And hopefully they won't destroy the rest of the world in the process. But that's what it's come down to now. These are white people destroying the world. I don't mean to make it sound like it's racist, but it is very racist. But fortunately, right now we have Europe is sitting back and they want no parts of this bullshit. They want no parts of this. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that Europe is pushed back. See, and here's another thing. A lot of y'all out there don't realize NATO is very powerful. The combined force of NATO could easily protect themselves against the Russians. Look at what the Ukrainians are doing. Ukrainians have been dragging the Russians for going on 5 years now. What the hell do you think the rest of NATO would do if Putin tried to attack NATO? You really think NATO would fold to the Russians? I hope you're not that stupid because NATO ain't no pushover. They got the technology, they got the tactics, they got the forces to protect themselves without the United States. And at this point, they really don't need our money. Lindsey Graham said the stupidest shit I've ever heard today, saying that he's pissed off because the Iranians are charging a toll and they're charging Chinese yuan instead of American dollars. The fuck is the American dollar? The American dollar is the American dollar. It's not the world fucking dollar. Unfortunately, for way too long, everything was based on the American dollar. But y'all got to understand something. America is a consumer state. Our money is counterfeit. Our money has no value, no real value. It's been a con job for the last 40 plus years, 50 years, 60 years. Really? There was a time, when we did stand head and shoulders above the rest, in terms of world security, and pride, diplomacy, But now, Donald Trump has wiped out everything. It's done. It's gonna take 25 to 50 years to fix what Donald Trump has wiped out in just 4 years, or just 1 year actually, because he's just going into a second. Well, no, 5 years because he did have a 4-year term prior. So far, the entire 5 years that Donald Trump has been in office, he has done more damage. He has done enough damage. It's probably literally going to take 25 to 50 years to fix. And if we don't get him out of office within these next 3 years, we might hit the point of no return. There may be no fixing it. And unfortunately for me, I'm not going to live to see how it turns out. Hopefully, my kids and my grandkids will be the generations to fix this bullshit. And hopefully they won't have to suffer much more than what we're suffering now. But I do believe it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I believe that. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. So, there's that. We're in trouble, though, y'all. We are in trouble. There's no easy answers right now. But the other thing that I'd mentioned earlier was the fact that maybe there was no downed pilots, no downed air crew, no downed F-15 air crew. It's starting to sound like it was all a cover story for a failed operation to go into Iran and seize their nuclear materials, their enriched uranium. And it sounds like it went really bad because there were a lot of aircraft lost. Two MC-130s, cargo planes. Usually these MC-130s are used to drop special forces into a zone. But both of them they claimed to have been destroyed by U.S. forces. All right, so if they were destroyed by U.S. forces, who pulled those people out? Because it sounds like they obviously went down. So somebody had to go pull those people out. There are a few helicopters. There were 10, 15 drones shot down. There's been a lot of equipment lost in this war so far that the administration isn't talking about. So, what's really going on? What's really going on? Inquiring minds want to know. Let's keep on this, people. Let's keep on it. Because the answer's out there. And it's going to take us independent journalists, us independent mouthpieces. It's going to take us ordinary Americans out here speaking out to find out the truth. And trust me, the truth will make us free. All right, y'all. I'm your man's Ken Jackson. This has been Coffee with Ken. Thank you for logging on. And if you didn't log on to the live, check it out on the replay. If you feel like America deserves better, please keep watching this channel. Follow me on TikTok and subscribe to this channel, Crazy Baby TV World, and visit my website, crazybabytvworld.com. Won't cost you a dime, I promise you. And because I'm not trying to get in your pocket, I don't sell merchandise. I don't do anything like that. I don't sell shit, but I talk shit. All right, so we will see you next time. Peace and chicken grease, y'all. I'm out.